Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. INEC announces 22 governors-elect as some losers contest results may end up at the tribunal. The electoral umpire to hold supplementary elections in 6 states where elections were inconclusive. National Assembly suspends plenary in honour of slain member. And British Prime Minister Theresa May's Brexit deal is voted down by MP. ChannelsTV.com has more information for you, and on youtube.com/channelsweb you can watch our videos. You can also watch us on your mobile device via your browser or download the Channels TV app for Android and iOS devices from their respective stores. Besides giving you access to news updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app has an eyewitness feature that you can use to share pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, tap and swipe to reveal the menu, and then follow the instructions. And in Taraba State, northeast Nigeria, Governor Darius Ishaku is appealing to his opponents in the just concluded election to put the past behind them and join hands with him to develop the state. The governor, who promised to rededicate himself to the job in his second term, also cautioned his supporters not to treat his victory as winner takes all. Governor Ishaku was speaking after he was pronounced winner by the INEC returning officer.
Fellow Tarabans, let me therefore use this opportunity to congratulate all of you for unanimously resolving to vote for peace and development and progress. This you demonstrated by casting your vote freely and democratically on Saturday. It is also a testimony of the fact that you desire unity of the state far and above any primordial considerations.
Meanwhile, the governor-elect of Imo State in the southeast, Mr. Emeka Ihedioha, is promising to take the state back to its glory days. Mr. Ihedioha, who is the former deputy speaker of the House of Representatives, says he'll make Imo a place where the people will have a sense of belonging. He made the comment shortly after he was declared winner of the Imo governorship election.
I'll put Imo back to life. I'll get Imo working again. We'll get the systems functioning and running. We shall reintroduce in our states systemic administration. We shall, by the grace of God, get back to the basics and revive our cultural heritage, give meaning to life, revive our ethical system. Now for me, Imo is one state and will be one state. Under my watch, we'll try and unite Imo, or reunite Imo. We used to be one state, and we'll have to get back to one state.
Now, as the dust of the governorship elections begins to settle, President Muhammadu Buhari has been meeting with some governors of the All Progressives Congress at his residence in the State House. The meeting, which held behind closed doors for over 2 hours, had in attendance the governors of Zamfara, Kebbi, Borno, Jigawa, Ekiti, Kaduna and Kogi states. The Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, was also in attendance. After the meeting, the governors refused to disclose its agenda to the journalists. The meeting is coming over 48 hours after the conduct of a governorship and state houses of assembly election. The president and his wife Aisha had earlier today returned to Aso Rock from his hometown, Daura. In the meantime, the All Progressives Congress caucus in the House of Representatives says proper legislation will be made to tweak the electoral law for a better process in the future. The APC caucus, led by the majority leader, Femi Gbajabiamila, however, commends INEC for what it describes as fairly credible elections. According to Mr. Gbajabiamila, legislative improvements in the Electoral Act will be made ahead of the 2023 general elections.
The INEC, despite the hiccups, the umpire gave us fairly credible elections. But as a country, We must strive for perfection and try to do better. In this regard, the legislature is key in retooling the electoral law and process and perfecting it going forward. Most especially, we congratulate the Nigerian people for keeping faith with our democracy and the election process, which can only get better as we progress.
Now, although the results of the governorship election in Ogun State does not seem to favor the state governor, Ibikunle Amosun, he says he's not bothered by it. According to Governor Amosun, what he has to contend with now is completing some of the projects that will be commissioned when President Muhammadu Buhari visits the state in May. Governor Amosun thanked residents for their support, even though it did not come as expected. He insists the projects he's promised to complete before he leaves office will still be completed. The governor was speaking during an inspection tour of some of the ongoing projects in company of some members of the State Executive Council. All right, now let's cross over to Abuja. Here's Linda Akibe. Hey, Linda.
Hi, Joma.
Hey.
We begin with legal stories. The trial of a suspended Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onoge, today stalled at the Code of Conduct Tribunal in Jabi, Abuja, due to his ill health. At the resumed hearing, Justice Onoge was absent in court for his trial over alleged failure to declare his assets. His lead counsel, Chief Adegboyega Awomolo, explained to the tribunal that his absence was occasioned by a toothache and high blood pressure and tendered a medical report to back it up. The report recommended, among others, that Justice Onoge must observe 72 hours bed rest for his blood pressure to be properly monitored. Counsel to the federal government, Mr. Liu Umar, admitted being copied with the letter. In his ruling, the tribunal chairman, Danladi Umar, agreed with the medical report and shifted the trial till Monday, March 18th.
We adjourned to 18th March 2019 because the defendant was not in court because of his medical condition. I told the court I was not going to comment on the medical report, but I took notice of the blood pressure as stated by the doctor.
If somebody is ill and the doctor certifies that he is not fit to be in court, what does that imply? It says the man is not fit, and it's only the living that can be prosecuted. It's only the prosecutor admitted that the man he wants my lord the CJN to leave. Do you want him alive? Do you want him alive? Yes. I want him alive. Yes, he will leave.
Meanwhile, the trial of the former managing director of the defunct Intercontinental Bank, Erastus Akimbola, has resumed at the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos. The trial is coming back to the court a year after the Supreme Court ordered Dr. Akimbola to face the charges against him. It's also almost 10 years after the former bank chief was initially arraigned before Justice Mohammed Idris on a 26-count charge of fraud, granting reckless credit facility, abuse of office and mismanagement of depositors' funds. The case was later transferred to Justice Charles Achibong on October 25, 2010, but 2 years later, the judge struck out the charge for a lack of diligent prosecution by lawyers to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. However, on the 20th of February 2015, the Court of Appeal Lagos Division overturned the Federal High Court's decision striking out the charges against Akimbola. Akimbola's appeal to the Supreme Court was also dismissed by the Apex Court, and the court on May 18, 2018, ordered the former bank chief to return to the Federal High Court to answer to the charges preferred against him by the EFCC. At the proceedings on Tuesday, the EFCC's witness, Abdurrahim Jimo, testified that as the chief inspector of Intercontinental Bank in November 2009, he discovered that Mr. Akimbola acquired properties in London with a sum of £8.5 million and £1.3 million allegedly diverted from the bank. He said the bank discovered this after investigating a letter it received via email from Deutsche Bank of London. Justice Mojisola Olaterogun has adjourned further proceedings in the matter till Wednesday, the 13th of March. Away from legal stories, as part of efforts to diversify the nation's economy, the federal government says it is vigorously promoting an increase in local content through a national leather policy. The Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Ogbonnaya, explained this at the inauguration ceremony of a 13-man National Steering Committee on the Strategic Implementation Plan of Leather and Leather Products Policy in Abuja. He says the new policy will conserve the nation's foreign exchange and effectively exploit her natural resources.
This very sector can help us provide high-quality jobs for Nigerians. It will also help us to create wealth for individual Nigerians and also help us grow our gross domestic product. So we are very happy that this policy that was approved by the Federal Executive Council is now in place. But we want it to be successfully implemented. And that is why we have gone to all the stakeholding ministries, departments, and agencies. You can see Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, and so many, and the Federal Ministry of Environment, and other departments and agencies, very relevant, and also the private sector, to work together to make sure that this policy is effectively implemented.
When the News at 10 returns, economist Bismarck Rwanye sets agenda for the Lagos State Governor-elect. Please stay with us.